Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 662 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'll tell you what, Tyler, I got a lot of thoughts. Got a
Uh,
lot of mixed emotions in regards to this whole Nintendo Direct stuff this past week. But with that being said, I've also have had a lot of different things going on in terms of say work-related stuff, life-related stuff. But honestly, this past week though, for work and stuff hasn't been too bad. I mean, could have been a lot worse and stuff. But other than that, though, I've been fairly all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. I was talking about like the last couple weeks. I've been kind of like a weird funk as far as like just like wanting to do anything as far as like entertainment wise, like diving in anything, and having the been crazy just work wise. I think it's a lot of it just deal. It's been a lot of long weeks, long days at work. Then having the last few days off. It's Saturday night as we're recording this, but I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and kind of catching up on things. Mostly sleep, a lot of sleep, a lot of sleep, a lot of naps.
Mm.
Um, and then just I feel like I've snapped out a little bit and just kind of enjoyed you know, having some more time hanging out with my dog, and then getting a chance to actually clean a little bit here and just get caught up on things. That's been kind of nice, but yeah, no, I'm doing okay. It's feeling pretty good. Drinking a beer right now as well. This is it's just hitting just right. It is, it's but yeah, no, I'm doing okay, all things considered. Yeah, it's been a crazy week as far as everything's over. Yeah, it's been a big Switch week. And yeah,
Mm.
there's a lot to talk about. I guess we should probably just jump into it real fast before we get to all that, though. Gables and I, we've been doing this for almost 12 years now. We have, we're just two guys that we do this for fun. We don't make money off of this. Although we are now YouTube partners. We hit 500 subscribers last week. So now, like, we
Yes.
don't make ad revenue, but there are memberships you can sign up for. We don't have anything to offer you outside of just like our podcast here and then some live reactions. But like, hey, there are like different, like a couple different tiers. Like there's as low as 99 cents um, to join us on a monthly thing. Like I said, I don't have anything extra to offer you other than a thank you. But honestly, more than anything, if you can just like hit the thumbs up button, share with your friends, subscribe to us. That'd be the best thing you can do for us. If you're listening to us on like Apple or Spotify or wherever, if you can go to YouTube and just, you don't have to watch us on there, but just subscribe to us. Make sure we stay over that 500 subscriber because we're at 501. So it'd be great if we could just stay over that 500 mark. That'd be great. But yeah, that's pretty much the best way to support us. We don't have a lot to offer, but whether we do this podcast goes every Sunday morning. We record on Saturday night, and then on YouTube wise, we do like other stuff. Like I did a live react to the Switch Direct on Wednesday. I did a bunch of breakout videos. I did a live react to the previous week's Direct as well. So whenever there's like major stuff that goes on, I do live react stuff like that. If Gables is able to join me, he does as well. It's kind of downside of we have full time jobs and Gables is 2 hours behind me, so I'm Central Time, he's West Coast time. So um, we do our best to work around it. But anyways, like I said, this has been a crazy week, Gable. So let's just jump into
Mm.
it. I'm just gonna do a quick time code here. All right, let's go. So obviously we've been talking about anticipating it, predicting it, guessing, stressing out about it for feels like years now. But we've known about April 2nd being the big day for the Switch 2 Direct for about 10 weeks or so, give or take. And it finally happened. We're not gonna like typically when this stuff happens, we go like bit by bit. We break it all down, game by game, and announcement by announcement. We're gonna do a little differently this time, just because this is a console. This isn't just this isn't a run of the mill direct or state of play or something like that. And then just so much stuff like not even getting into like the delay of the pre-orders, but just like so much stuff happened like immediately afterwards and things were coming out and it's just like, hectic and crazy. So we're not going to do that this time. We're gonna like I broke everything down in like segments as far as like we could talk about. But Gables, just the direct itself, like that when that hour was over, before we knew everything else, what was your thoughts on? Give me like a little synopsis of what you thought about it, and then like give me your 1 out of 10 score.
All right. So my overall thoughts about the Nintendo Direct before everything else happened afterwards. I thought it was relatively good Direct. I am not gonna mince words or anything. I thought that there were a lot of bangers that were introduced. Obviously, the introduction for the Mario Kart World, that was an excellent idea to start with that. It definitely had a bunch of interesting gameplay stuff that was shown, grinding on rails, doing wall bounces, being explorational, kind of like a Burnout Paradise meets like Mario Kart sort of clashing of styles and stuff. So that truly felt like a revolutionary thing for Mario Kart, and it felt fresh in a way to where, okay, well, it's engaging, but at the same time it makes you want to invest time in wanting to play, because not only can you go and do the usual Mario Kart stuff, but you can also like just do a bunch of screwy stuff with your friends if you choose to do so. And I really did like that. I mean, I honestly really did like the whole Donkey Kong Bonanza stuff. I mean, oh my gosh. At first I thought it was a new 3D Mario, but then I started hearing familiar sounds and I saw something that caught my eye and think, "Oh, wait a minute. This is something different." And it was the word aisle. And the thing about it is, in the Donkey Kong Country franchise, inside those first three DKC games and stuff, DK Isle is the main central point and stuff like that, where Donkey Kong and Diddy live and stuff. And so you see the word Isle and think, oh no, this is Donkey Kong. Then you see him bust through and like go all these destructible environments and stuff like that. The vivid, like the color, the vivid popping, like the environment of everything and stuff, the very atmospheric stuff. That was awesome. I mean, on top of that, the whole thing with the Nintendo Switch Online in the addition of the GameCube games, which, bar none, I thought Donkey Kong Bonanza was the best game that was shown, but this was my favorite moment in terms of the whole initial direct, and that was the unveiling of the GameCube games. And they did not pull any punches. All three games that they shown with the introduction of it are bangers. I mean, you had Zelda Wind Waker, you have Soul Calibur 2, which that threw me off because Namco Bandai has not done shit with Soul Calibur ever since Soul Calibur 6, and the commercial stuff kind of like did not earn itself in a way to where they're presenting with another entry in that franchise. But the last one was F-Zero GX. If you would have told me going into this thing where I would see not only Soul Calibur 2, but F-Zero GX get mentioned in the same direct, I would not have believed that. I would have thought that you freaking were probably get paid off by someone to say that. But the biggest takeaways from that initial point is, obviously, because this is the GameCube stuff, and this is like the whole save state stuff, it's going to be fairly easy to go and and play a lot of these classics now. They also showcased a bunch of games after, kind of like similar what they did with previous systems they introduced, to where now you get to see a whole slew of games coming out, right? And then you see Pokemon Coliseum, you see Pokemon like Gales of Darkness XD, you see Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. The moment I see Path of Radiance, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, that would save states. Yeah, man. It's like I initially had so much trouble. I had so much problems as a kid playing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance because I had to freaking reset the damn game over and over because I got my teammates killed. But it's a lot to take in terms of just that moment in of itself. But I think the biggest surprise had to be in regard to the whole Dustblood stuff, because when you see that initial cutscene, you get the feeling that it's something familiar, and immediately my mind went to, okay, this is Bloodborne, isn't it? It's like I see familiar type of environments and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, that can't be right. I mean, Bloodborne is a Sony-owned property, but this, even though it was not Bloodborne, it's called Dustblood. It's from the same maker as as Bloodborne. This is quintessentially Nintendo's like this is Bloodborne exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2, right? This is a sequel to Bloodborne, like a spiritual sequel to Bloodborne without actually calling it that. So it's like seeing that emotion, that that was a big surprise. Seeing a FromSoft game inside of a Nintendo Direct, it being from like an established like, director and stuff that was responsible for creating games like Bloodborne and stuff, coming on doing this exclusive game. Both Nintendo and From Software collaborated to create this game, so it's not coming out on PC. It's not coming out on PlayStation or something. Getting that type of exclusivity and stuff, I never thought I'd see that happen personally.
Yeah.
But gosh, there was so many other like different types of moments though. Obviously, seeing like Hades 2, that was a big pop right there. Seeing a blip of Hollow Knight's Silk Song saying released in 2025,
What a cock
just
tease.
a little hint, a little trickle of freaking Silk Song, that had me laughing because it's like, of course, is this gonna be a little blurb?
Yeah.
Oh man, but I'll tell you what, I was so happy when all of a sudden like Toby Fox goes through and you just see this familiar figure and stuff for Deltarune and stuff. Oh my gosh. There's a friend that I have and stuff. She streams and stuff. And she absolutely loves Deltarune. She has a tattoo of like on her arm and stuff in terms of like a specific saying I think of Delta from like a character from Deltarune. And the most hilarious part about it is stuff, seeing her reaction and stuff. She's absolutely freaking out. Because chapters 3 and 4 are going to be released alongside of it. Because up until then, you had access on other platforms to download the first 2 chapters for free for
Mm.
Deltarune. But 3 and 4 are new content from that stuff. And that's going to be coming out the same day as Nintendo Switch 2, which is April no, it's June 5th.
Yeah.
It's June 5th. So but thankfully it's not exclusive. It's going to be on the other platform stuff like PC, PS4,
It's
PS5,
console
and
exclusive at first.
yeah, console exclusive at first and
Yeah.
stuff. They haven't yet decide. They haven't like decide like whether or not it's going to be just like in terms of like say an upgrade thing like from Switch 1 or Switch 2. They're still trying to iron out details from that from what I've read. But that was a happy moment for people. Trying to think. Obviously, the biggest falter was the whole entirety of their friggin' direct stuff just going at a complete standstill for the US one because the whole audio and video issues. Immediately from the get go, there was like desynchronization and stuff between
Yeah.
the ones talking and stuff and the audio. The audio and video were off,
And it got
like
worse
at least
throughout
about a
the.
few seconds.
Yeah, it got worse and worse, and then everybody had to switch over. Thank God for the UK. The
And you want to
UK
know what's
stream worked.
hilarious? You want to know what's hilarious? For the people that were watching the US feed and stuff, you were hearing introductions of, say, like Enter the Gungeon 2 and stuff and this and that. And finally, when they fixed the video, there's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Could you just imagine? Could you just imagine if this were. If that was, like, say, Dustblood, or if that was, like, the friggin' Deltarune stuff,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they just see this little blurb or something like that, like, what? What? Go back! Go back!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Now we get more so into the Switch 2, like, the Switch 2 like update stuff or the games that were already released on Switch, like Breath of the Wild, like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands and stuff, like Tears of the Kingdom, and then obviously the upcoming release is going to be like Metro Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends Z to A. I'm not surprised though that for the older games that were released and stuff, the Zeldas, the Kirby's and stuff, that they're going to be having like Switch 2 editions and stuff. Of course, it's kind of funny, like for the Kirby stuff, the DLC for that's just locked exclusively on Switch 2. Obviously, I understand why. They want to get people to buy the new system, but at the same time, it's like this. Oh, it's not much. The whole Kirby stuff, that's not much different than friggin'
Yeah. Well, it's like
content you go on the Switch.
the 2 Zelda games. The app, companion app stuff is exclusive to Switch 2 as well. So
I didn't know that, so that was
yeah.
actually news to me. And I think it was you posted me this article earlier on today where it's like the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff for those games like Breath of the Wild or like Tears of the Kingdom, they're just Switch 1 carts with like the codes and there's like codes and stuff with them for like the download the Switch 2 update,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
I mean, I get why they're doing it, but
I
at the
don't.
same time, I was kind of hoping that they had all the content on the one cart.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
out of 10 Gables, what would you give it? The direct itself.
all right, the direct itself, I would actually have given it. I'd actually would have given it like a solid like 9 out of 10 because it did hit on a bunch of things I personally liked. I saw multiple games that warrant me to want to play the Nintendo Switch 2, be it Mario Kart World, be it Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then obviously the Nintendo Switch Online stuff for GameCube. I mean, those are three big things because everything else I could play on other platforms. Oh, Dustblood. Dustblood was another thing.
Yeah,
Since
2026 for
that's
that one.
exclusive on there, that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So that's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
How about you, Tyler?
Um, I wasn't like I wasn't disappointed by it, but I wasn't like wowed by it either. Like I felt like I kind of the
Right.
way I wanted to go into it is like what like when you go into this console launch, it's like I want to know what I'm playing. Like what's the major stuff coming, you know, to like at launch the next 6 months, and then like what's the big stuff I'm playing next year, and like give me some teases. Like I want like you don't have to give me everything, but like give me some like what's the big shit I need to be looking forward to in 2026 and like stuff like that. And like I feel like they didn't really blow us away with that. Like like this year is looking
No.
really good. I think. Um, Obviously, Duskblood is coming next year. But that's the one thing.
Hmm.
I think that's literally the only thing we have that from this that was 2026 from Nintendo. And everything
Right.
else was 2025 related. And like I said, like now, like from when this thing comes out, hopefully still June 5th, to the end of the year, like we're gonna be feasting, kind of like how we were when the Switch One came out, like that first when we had that first like
Yes.
9-10 months of the year, like they had pretty much every like 4 to 6 weeks we had something come out. Maybe not all of them were like some of them were ARMS, some of them were Mario Kart 8, some of them were Xenoblade, some of them were like, but they did a good job of like at least like even if like this one wasn't for you, there was another one coming a month later. And I think like we
Yes.
got this job this time around maybe of doing that, but like yeah, like I look at it's just kind of like cool. Like what am I gonna be doing in like after December? Now, there's probably gonna be more directs, so I got more coming, but yeah, I wasn't really blown away. Where I think like most of the time, like we when we get these console launches, we're like we see a lot, and like and this is like hey, this is like kind of the first phase that you're gonna see. Um, and then like the first couple years of it, and like we didn't really get that, and like the stuff that like I don't know, I wasn't like I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I wasn't like holy shit, I can't wait for this. Like in fact, it's coming in July, blew me away. It was honestly the coolest thing about it. But like I think the game looks great.
Mm.
I'm sure it's gonna be phenomenal. But like I don't know, like I was like hoping for like a 3D Mario or like a hint of like a Zelda thing or something like that, and we like a, a real Zelda game, not Hyrule Warriors. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought like like the partner having the partners there. You're always gonna have that. There's gonna be a lot of people that third parties love to be at the launch of a console.
Hmm.
And like this time around they got more support than usual, and like I feel like the
Yeah.
third party people they focused on were like the big ones out there, like you said, like From Software we already talked about. That's like a second party deal. We got Deltarune out there, Hades 2 being a console launch exclusive. It'll be on PC day one, but it'll be
Mm.
exclusive for a period of time on Switch 1 and 2, they said. But on Switch 2, I believe they said it'll be 60 frames per second on there. I don't know about Switch 2 or Switch 1 rather. Yeah, but I wasn't just like it just wasn't like, and part of it too was just anticipation. Like we've been waiting for the Switch 2 thing for, I mean, like I've talked about, like I was sick of talking about Switch 2 rumors 2 years ago. So it was just like I just want to see it now, and it's part of that too is just anticipation, maybe like hyping yourself up a little bit too much. But I came away from it like I'd say like an eight-ish. Like it wasn't like, like I said, like going into this is like they would have to like Xbox One this to like make it so I don't want to buy this thing at launch. They really had to try hard to fuck this up, and like boy did they maybe try to a little bit with some of all the information that came out like shortly after and then like Thursday and stuff. But there's been obviously before even like the delay in pre-orders, there was a lot of frustration out there. A lot of it was self-inflicted by Nintendo. But before we get jumping into everything, we could talk about like so like how do we want to do this? There's so much going on. Okay, so we'll talk about console details here. It's 4K support, HDR. They have the dual mouse controls, 256 gigabytes of storage. That's probably 256 is fine, especially if you're like this is gonna be like a machine that you're mostly gonna play first party games on, you'll probably be fine. If unless you want to like you're the type that doesn't want to uninstall games. Like I think you'll probably be okay with 256, and then you can buy I think it was like $60 for. I sent you that one. I think it was like $60 for another
Right.
256 gigabyte SD micro express. I can't remember what it is. I have it saved in my
Yeah, there
Amazon
and
list.
obviously there are other options too. I mean, I was looking
Yeah,
into the whole aspect of the Micro Express SD cards where it's like there is one from Lexar that they're putting out for like a terabyte, like Micro Express XD, but that's gonna be like $200.
yeah. And the one I saw, this is like the one everybody's like pointing out. This is like the go-to one, probably at first. And I remember I bought like a 256 gigabyte SD card for my Switch, on day one, and I still have it in my Switch. Like I never, like I don't even know, like I think I very rarely put anything on there, and that was with a 32 gigabyte um, hard
Right.
drive inside the actual Switch itself. So, and they said some games can run up to 120 frames per second. We wouldn't even talk about Gables. The C button stands for game chat. And with this, you can play with it looks like up to 3 other players. They didn't show more, but you can also like the way it works. It's basically like bad Discord, where you can you can share your screen with friends, and your friends like you can all watch other things, but like you can watch your friends play games at 5 frames per second, in 360p. And Gables, one little thing there. So Game Explain caught this, and I believe it was in one of those moments there. They were playing a Yoshi's game, but it was not Crafted World. It was Woolly World.
Yes, it was. I
Yeah,
noticed that.
yeah. So that's that got. I didn't even notice that. My best friend Justin, that we were talking about it yesterday, Thursday, whatever. We were talking about it afterwards, and he pointed that out to me, and I went and watched the video. I'm like, holy shit! I love not Craft World was bad. Woolly World
Woolly World
fucking
is a
ruled.
good game.
That game was phenomenal. So I'm excited for that one. I have all the Yarn
It's
Yoshis
the
because
last
of that
big
kind of
Wii
game.
U game that hasn't been ported yet.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's really that and like the NES remix games. Saving the best for last though, you know. But anyways, the game chat will be free until March 2026, and it'll be behind the. I don't. It sounds like it's just like the base NSO. You don't have to have the expansion pass for that one. Um, then the battery life is 2 to 6 hours. They will have game sharing on some games where that is like local only, where you can like share. They only like show like a few games. Like there's that Club 51 game. I think like Mario Kart might have been in there as well. But you can like play with up to like 3 other people, like multiplayer with your friends with only one cart. And then they said they'll be there. So far, it looks like there's 46 third-party games confirmed, with 17 being at launch for this thing. But Gables, just details itself.
Hmm.
How'd you feel about all of this?
I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna be not pulling any punches. I thought it was shit. I
Oh,
absolutely did think that was shit. Why? It's because there are other alternatives in terms of this type of communication stuff and this stuff. This is Nintendo's version of Discord, only obviously a bit worse. But there are other options that a person can do to communicate with each other over while playing a game. You have Discord itself. You have PlayStation 5 Party Chat. You actually have your fucking cell phone if you want to be that desperate and try to do
FaceTime.
that with Discord on.
Yeah. I mean, Skype's gonna be dead by the time it comes out. Otherwise, Skype would be an option.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I mean, I get the appeal about some circumstances with this game chat. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it could have its uses with people, like say with a family or something, if they want to just like play in the house or something. But then again, who the hell who the hell wants to get that Switch 2 camera, dude? I mean, you're not going to go ahead and do like a lot of like screen motions or something because this is the type of thing that you would use to help maybe your friend or something get past a certain area inside of a game, right? For like video stuff. But at the same time, it just goes back to the reiterization of you have other services that not only are presented on other like devices or other platforms and stuff, but they do it better.
Mm-hmm.
This is Nintendo finally getting up maybe just a little bit under what the standard is in terms of a communication thing, for like game chat communication, like group chat communication stuff. And the fact that they've gotten to this type of they've gotten up to this point, it took them this long to catch up from something way back from like that we've had since like 2006, 2005 or 2006.
Xbox, the
That's
OG
laughable.
Xbox had this.
The OG Xbox had this. The Xbox 360 had group chat stuff. You could talk with people. Hell, there were times where you can actually watch movies with people over Xbox 360 and stuff and just
Netflix.
have like a bunch of like chat with friends. I mean, we've had bad movie drinky nights. You, myself, and a couple of, and obviously the friends over like the Talking Ship, with like podcasts and stuff
Yeah.
way back when. Just just going ahead and like just reacting like bad movie drinking
Yeah.
the freaking bad Milo for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and like
And
I back
that
then
was
when
way
I wasn't
back.
sorry, real fast here. I wasn't even legally allowed to drink yet. Now now I'm almost 36 years old. That's when we were doing that shit.
This was back in the 2010s, for
Yeah.
God's sake. Now, yeah, that aspect, I thought this was incredible, just amount of shit. And I feel that hardly anybody is going to be using this feature. This was such a disappointment when they introduced this feature for the C button. It could have been almost anything else, and it could have been more practical, but the fact that it's a video chat sort of thing is similar to Discord without Nintendo actually calling it Discord, it would have been fucking better than just getting a license stuff from Discord in order to try to get that type of thing on their
Yeah.
platform.
I wonder if Discord could sue them for like patent infringement. That'd be really funny.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I
I'd
don't know.
be
I
for
don't
that.
know the logistics of it, but that would be
I
pretty
don't,
funny.
I'm being somewhat, I'm mostly joking, but I just think for the bit, it'd be hilarious if they got sued for that.
All of a sudden, it's just live. Just Nintendo just gets a random Discord chat. Hey, we like to have a word with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first day, like, what the fuck is Discord? Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if like Nintendo like thought they created this and they think it's the coolest thing ever, not even knowing Discord exists. What would be really funny if like last month when they heard about Skype being shut down, they discovered Skype. It's like, whoa, we should do this for the Switch too. Like that's, yeah, I thought,
Oh.
yeah, I thought it was like, okay, this. Like on one hand, it's like the bar's so low sometimes with Nintendo, where it's like they give us like anything we get excited for it. It's just like, like they starve us, and then when like they give us like a little tiny piece of bread, we like thank them for that. Like we worship them for that little tiny piece of bread, even though they're the ones that won't feed us. Yeah, so like
Right.
this game chat thing kind of crappy. Yeah, the camera thing is kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. The fact that the microphone is in the console, and I'm supposed to trust that Nintendo is like, hey, this will like your friend could be having the blender in the background, and it will know not to. I'm like, oh, I don't believe you. Like like I'm not saying like this can be complete shit, but I don't have a lot of faith in this thing.
Dude,
Um,
dude, here's something we haven't thought about. Let's say people get this system at launch, they get the camera and everything else like that. How long do you think it's going to take until like that Nintendo has like their fucking like Xbox 360 like Uno camera moments or something like that?
Gables, that's the one thing I might buy the camera for. If I can finally play naked with people online again, like I did back in the day in the 360s. Honestly, that's like the most nostalgia I got out of this whole thing was them talking about Uno and camera and like show yourself on the camera with other people. But yeah, I don't know. I was surprised that they mentioned 4K and HDR. I'm once again shocked they knew what that meant. Also,
Yeah.
frames per second kind of blew me away as well. If you look at the last handful of years of the Switch, where most games didn't even hit 30. So yeah, I don't know. I was blown away by the specs of it. Yeah, the game chat thing. Kyle Bossman said it best. They put a button on your controller you have to pay for to use, which is just wild. In the C button.
Absolutely, because you have to pay for the NSO in order to try to actually speak with people this damn chat.
Yeah, I mean we do get it free for a little bit. I mean the nice thing is you don't have to have a camera, and there is an audio jack on the controller, the Pro controller, so that tells me we can I mean this is the company though that had Bluetooth in their Switch for years and didn't actually unlock it for like 5 years. So who knows? Who fucking knows? But let's jump into the first party stuff here. So you've already touched upon a lot of it here. We can actually let's jump into pricing here. So Gabe, obviously all this shit
Right.
can mean nothing as of right now. But I had a lot of stuff put in here before everything kind of went crazy on Friday. But okay, when it ended, all we had was a date. We had no price. We had no details about anything else. And then basically all day Wednesday and Thursday was just a trickling of information and everything that happened. and I will just say, um, it was incredibly frustrating. Um, and I'm not even
Mm.
necessarily mad about the price points of this. Like, it's a little more than I anticipated. Okay, we talked about last week. You were saying $500 all along. I thought 400.
Yep.
Maybe there was a bundle for 500. And so I was kind of sort of right there, I guess, because there is a Mario Kart bundle for 500. There is it, but it will be 450. For the base model. But my frustration isn't the price point necessarily for so much of this stuff. It's just the way that like Nintendo has just even to now, a Saturday night as of record. It's technically Sunday now at my time. Has that actually come out and said anything to us? And has not. It's done zero communication. Basically, it's just been like Wario 64 and like other journalists out there like finding it like as things like literally popping up on like Walmart on websites with the price points, and everybody like every different country, every country is different. So like we're all freaking out because like in some countries physical is $10 more
Right.
than it is digital. So we're like now we're like, oh my god. Then we see Mario Kart World is $80. Like what? Like that we're just going right to 80, but Donkey Kong
Right.
Bonanza is
Right.
70. How much of these like okay cool you can pay for the upgrade to switch to the Switch 2 editions. Okay, how much are those? We still don't have a fully detailed price point of that one, but we do see that like they're selling like Kirby and Tears of the Kingdom and a few Mario
Yes.
Party at $80. Breath of the Wild is 70. I thought Mike and I said this best. Breath of the Wild is over 8 years old. They never dropped the price, but here we are over 8 years later. They raised the price to $70 now for this thing. Like they found a way to make it more expensive for us after over 8 years of being out. Obviously, yeah, there's upgrades, but it's like I don't know. Some of these, I'm like Breath of the Wild. Like I feel like like some of these games, like they had so many frame rate issues. Like I shouldn't be charged for your game to finally run at appropriate frame rates. Like I'm fine paying
Exactly.
for like upgrades. Like I've been on all aboard the $10 upgrades on PlayStation since the beginning now. Like people have been freaking out about it's ridiculous. I have to pay for this, but I'm like, you know what? The game looks prettier. It runs at a higher frame rate. They're not just like giving you a better looking version. They're usually something they add on to it. Like Days Gone is getting new content.
Yes.
Last of Us Part 2 had a whole roguelite mode to it. Like they typically give you something with it. So like I've been fine with that. Like it's never bothered me. But like some of these is just like but those games ran really well beforehand. So it's like it's just we're getting prettier versions with the other shit. Some of the stuff like they didn't run very well in the first place, and now they're going to charge me more to finally run at 60 frames per second. And yes, we are getting an a companion app on your on with an app, which is fucking wild to me that we're still depending on this Nintendo app that they haven't used for like since like Splatoon 2 came out. Which is remember the contraption you had to buy so you can have voice chat on the Switch that like they just
Yep.
never used. Yeah, I
Yep.
like I said, like Mario Kart World being $80, like yeah, it's a little frustrating to like say that. And like I know everybody freaks out. Well, technically prices haven't increased with inflation with video games. Yes, I know, I get it, but it's like going from 60 to 80. That's a big jump overall. And like yeah, okay, we were expecting 70, so now it's 80. It's Mario Kart. If they can get away, like if there's any game they can get away with Mario Kart's one of them. But like it's just like the confusing part of like okay, it's a Donkey Kong 70, but then we're like, is Mario Kart World $90 physically? Like that's insane. Like oh my god, like GTA 6 might actually be $100. And it's just like all like this shit trickling in, and it's like we're just seeing prices from all out. Like in Ireland it's this price, in UK like they're doing different things in different countries, and it's like
Right.
if they just like came out and just talked to us and communicated with us, like like we see like the treehouse shit. It's just been spamming people with drop the price. Like that's all you see. I was trying to watch treehouses and like I just pulled up the live chat like at first, and it was just spamming drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. And it's like
It's a complete wave.
yeah, and it's like that's all. Like you can't have a conversation in there because it's just drop the price over and over again. And like I said, like the price point to me isn't even like on as of now, who the fuck knows? Like all this shit could be mute tomorrow. Like it seems like everything could change 15th. I don't even want to get into the whole tariff shit because like there's a lot of people out there a lot smarter than me that understand this shit a lot more than I do. Who the fuck knows what's
And
gonna
there's a
happen?
lot of unknown variables going on with the tariff stuff right now until we know concrete wise and stuff. I mean, obviously, any of the prices for this system and stuff is kind of questionable. What we know for right now, for certain, as a recording, 450 for the base model, 500 for the bundle with Mario Kart World.
Yeah,
What I will say in regard to this whole pricing stuff, what's interesting about it is people bring up the whole thing about like inflation and this and that, and I understand like some bits of that stuff, but at the same point, if we're gonna go with inflation stuff, especially when it comes to game systems or whatsoever, or for games itself, and people always citing, oh, back in the day things were more expensive, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. But if you actually go back and actually look at some of these like initial like sales like magazines and stuff and flyers from games way back when, like say like from the 90s, like the mid 90s, you see games like say like Illusion of Gaia for like $95, or like Killer Instinct being for the Super Nintendo being like close to like 85, and some of this
Yeah.
other stuff. I mean, the whole concept and the whole reason why I bring this up though is because back then it wasn't a clear cut like definitive, okay, these games are only going to be a this set price or something like that. It was adjustable price rates based upon what type of property you have, and also in terms of what type of like initial game content or what type of technology they were putting inside the carts at that point in time. Case in point, you had games like Earthbound that released way back when, and that was like 80 something dollars, because not only did you have the game itself, you had the player's guide, and also you had like the set chip stuff that was advanced for it. But it wasn't until like with PlayStation introducing itself and stuff, and like going to the CD-ROM format, then the game started to become stabilized at a straight $50.
Mm.
And that worked itself away until like the mid 2000s, and now eventually right now with Nintendo doing its whole introduction of the prices of these games digitally, like the $80 stuff from Mario Kart World, $70 for Donkey Kong. It's kind of almost and like inspired a bit of frustration for a lot of us that have been around the gaming like landscape and stuff for like over 20, 30 years or something, because this has given us fears of way back when the things would be adjustable and stuff. And now we haven't got a lot of the price stuff confirmed for GTA 6, but pretty much the vast majority of us kind of believe it's going to be $100 anyway,
Or at
because it's
least 80.
Rockstar Games. They're going to, what's that?
Or at least 80.
Or at least 80.
Yeah.
Well, whether if it's 80 or $100, people guarantee they believe they're going to be paying a lot more, because Rockstar will put a premium price, because at the end of the day, people will buy it because of the property it is.
Mm.
And this is the same type of thing that comes around with Nintendo products. People will cry, people will complain, people will go through and do the initial stuff that they feel is frustrating. And quite honestly, a lot of those opinions are warranted. However, when you come to a Nintendo console with a Nintendo product, these very same people that have been complaining and stuff, a lot of them are going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And the most frustrating part about it is and stuff, Nintendo could be right. They could initially get 80 some odd dollars from like millions of people. And then that, because of them realizing, people will spend $80 on like Mario Kart World and stuff. What's the next Mario game going to be like? Like an actual 3D Mario game, like an Odyssey, like a Odyssey 2, or the next Major Line Zelda game. Maybe we'll price like it for about $90 because it has its own set of circumstances.
Mm.
Because of this type of factor going into play and stuff, it's frustrating because it feels like, from a consumer standpoint, that Nintendo doing this is kind of like a catalyst for like other companies to say, "Oh, hey, if they're getting this much from Mario Kart, why don't we set our games over like about the 80 to $100 threshold as a base game?"
Mm.
You know, it's that type of fear gamers do have at this moment. But honestly, there's a lot of unknowns. There's definitely a lot of excitement too for like some of the game stuff, but yet a lot of this has led to Nintendo almost having a crisis level thing that they've never really experienced before as like a gaming company,
Yeah.
because they've never been in a situation to where they're smack down the middle, where they've unveiled these excellent games that people are going to be looking forward to playing, right? A system that they're going to be putting out in the next like couple of months. But people are so pissed at them because of pricing. They are so pissed at them because of like the amount of things with the physical game stuff and the mass confusion of everything. And
Yeah.
on top of that, you have the tariff stuff on top. So people are, them as a company, I have to feel like they're pretty much trying to like distance themselves and try to regather something in
Yeah.
order to try to do a better communication, because it's like you're absolutely 100% right, Tyler. They have had a lack of communication about this stuff. And it was fairly telling with that direct, they decided not to put any price point stuff of that system or of the games until after the direct ended. You go onto their app, they had details upon it then, and then everybody else started seeing things pop up around the retailer sites. And this is how we learned that they have increased a lot of their set values for everybody.
Mm.
And it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, like the tariff stuff is like it was just kind of like bad luck for them because the day they
Yeah,
announced the pricing
absolutely.
for this, the tariffs dropped. So it's like they're kind of in a like in hindsight, if they could have just pushed this back one more week, they probably would have. Um, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like I feel like the outrage is just mostly because of the confusion and just like almost the way I'm like I don't know, arrogance is maybe the right word, but like the fact that like in a way where like they just try to almost like in a weird way like I'm not hide. I don't know what the best word is, but like it's kind of like when like you're a kid and like you fuck up, you break something, and like instead of just telling your
Yes.
parents about it, like you just hope that maybe they won't notice, or maybe they'll notice it, but like I don't want to tell them because I'm scared I'm gonna get yelled at. But you're gonna like it's just gonna get worse if you like just don't tell them, and that's kind of how honestly the way it feels is they like they didn't want to put it at the end of the direct, or they didn't want to put it at the beginning because they put it at the end. Obviously, that's the last thing you're gonna think of. But maybe if they would put it at the
Yep.
beginning and said, "Hey, we're gonna charge you this much for it, but here's where everything we're gonna give you." By the end of it, we've been like, "Fuck yeah, I'm totally in." But the fact that they waited till after, like everybody's like, they didn't give us a price. That's so fucking weird. Even like the PS5 Pro, they at least put the price point at the end. You know, like and they knew they're gonna get
Absolutely.
mocked for it. They're gonna get shit for it, but at least they put it at the end. I'm not trying to sit there and like say, "Hey,
At
look at
least they had the
PlayStation."
cojones to go and put the price centerfold. It's like, yeah, this is going to be $700, guys.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Like at least like they communicated with us, you know. And yeah, I think that's just like just the way it went about it. And like I was listening to the Kit and Chris to talk about it. It's like this is like
Yeah.
I mean, an outrage you haven't really maybe I don't know maybe they haven't felt before or seen before. And like a lot of it is like they talk about I listen to a lot of Kit and Chris stuff because they have so many great stories about like Nintendo. And one thing they
Yes.
talk about is like in the last 5-6 years they've really hunkered down ever since they've been kind of like the Switch has really become the proved to be a big success. They've really hunkered down, and it's just like we talk about this all the time of like when these console makers. It's a lot like it happens a lot in business, but we see we're a video game podcast, but we see this a lot in the video game side where like the PS2 is on top and they fuck up the PS3 launch. You know, Xbox
Yes.
360 is on top, they fuck up the Xbox One. There's a bit of arrogance to it, and maybe like either you're gonna buy it anyway, so who cares type of thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that like they don't like and like they're like either they're arrogant or the combination of arrogance or like they haven't really they haven't really come out and talked about things in so long that they didn't really think they had to, or they don't know how to talk to us because they haven't done it in so long that like they fucked it up. And like that, like I said, like it all comes down to like just having the like putting everything on the web. Just at the very like you don't want to put it on the thing like on the direct. At least have it on the website ready to go with all the details, all the
Yep.
price points. Like tell us like, and it's just like it was just trickling information. And then on top of that, like it's misinformation because people are seeing price points from other countries, and it's like, is that the way it's gonna be here in the U.S.? Is that the way like, and that's what it comes down
Absolutely.
to. It's just I keep saying it over again, just not talking about it. And like it's just like the thing is on top of that, it's like it's like I said, like when you're a kid and you break something, your parents are gonna be mad at you about it. It's just like they knew people were gonna be upset, so they didn't want to put it they didn't want to put it in this direct because people are gonna be upset. The problem is people are gonna be upset regardless, and you just piss them off more. And I think a lot of this could have been avoided by just telling us, by just saying it.
Yep.
And like I get like not putting maybe the prices of the games on the show itself, but like if we would have seen Donkey Kong for $70, that's what we expected. Mario Kart $80, ooh, a little sticker shock there, but people would have got over it. Like it would have been maybe been a deal for a day and we'll be over it. And it's just everything, the way we went about learning it, trickling information. I don't know how many times like Gables, you're like, hey, let me know if you hear anything because you're at work, I'm at home, and I'm just like bombarding with
Yeah.
messages, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. Like I don't know what's going on, and then it's just like
That was fairly entertaining, though, by
yeah, I
the
was not
way.
having fun. Like this is my day off, and I'm like, what the
I
fuck is
know.
going
I
on? I
know.
just want to know. I just want to understand. Um, and then like yeah, it's everything. And then like the Pro controller's $80, Joy Cons are $90, camera's $50, dock is $110. Like not honestly a little cheaper than I thought. Like Pro controller and Joy Cons are $10 more. Camera is actually cheaper than I thought. Dock being 110, a little more than I thought, but okay. The GameCube controller being $65 though, that stunned me. That's a little high. But yeah. And then like so they're bringing back Amiibo, which god damn it. The Street Fighter 6 amiibos are $30. The 4 Tears of the Kingdom amiibos are $20. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Long way to go there, but it's just like, man, just like I'm not trying to say like this is an Xbox One or a PS3 situation, but like at least from this, we obviously when the tariffs happen, who the fuck who knows? I'm expecting a price increase at this point. And like I said, they're like I'm not trying to say I feel sorry for Nintendo here, but they're kind of in a rock and a hard place here. Of like if they would have done this direct on this Wednesday, if they would have come out and hey it's $700, it's like okay, well like people have been mad, but like okay we get like tariffs happen, so I get it a little bit more I guess. But like I don't know. But let's move on here, Gables. We talked a lot about all this stuff already, but like let's kind of run through some of the stuff again and more crazy shit that happened. So we talked about Mario Kart World will be there at launch. There's like that bundle we talked about. There will also be a direct on April 17th as well. But yeah, like blown away by this. I thought I watched the Treehouse and I messaged you. I'm like, dude, I went from being like, yeah, I'm excited to play more Mario Kart to like I want to play this thing as soon as possible. Look phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like the knockout mode looks fucking incredible. 24 players. Gables, I fucking popped. Maybe the hardest throughout the whole show was for the fucking cow. The cow was an option. It's so awesome. I was so excited for the cow. I could not believe it. For Moo Moo Meadows, they finally put the little fucker in there. But yeah, we got like the penguins from Mario 64 is in there. Like, blown away by it. That game looks phenomenal. And then like they showed like I watched the Treehouse and they're showing like how the whole like Grand Prix mode works. The only thing that kind of sucks is like so maybe after the race is over, you race to the next race basically. But it was such that it's not seamless. There was like a loading screen after the race, then turns you into the race between the race, and then there's another loading screen after that to then start the race. So it's not like a seamless like this isn't like Burnout Paradise or like Forza Horizon and like that sense where it's all seamlessly open. But yeah, like you talked about it already, but yeah, it looked pretty awesome. That's coming day and date. Another game here, Gables, that's coming day and date as well, Gables. A game that Nintendo themselves talk when they introduce this as a tech demo. Welcome to it. I'm like, okay, this is like a little dumb thing where you're in a Joy-Con, you're kind of walking around. It explains to you how the console works. I'm like, there's like a little Macarena thing, and then there's like, you can like a little putter thing here, Gables. I'm like, oh, cool, that's a cool little thing that's in like that's gonna be in there at launch. You can give you a better understanding how the Switch 2 works and all that. No, Gables, it's paid. You have to buy this thing. We don't have a price point yet. Once again, no price point. No idea how much. No idea how much it's going to cost. We do know in the UK it's about $7 something pounds. I don't know. I can't remember if it was. I think it's pounds. So I'm expecting $5 to $10 here. They literally called it a tech demo, Gables. They are charging
at
you
that
for
point, why not pack it in the system?
They are charging you for the manual. I don't care if this thing was $1 or a penny. The fact that they're charging you for this is just insulting to me. Like, this isn't even a game.
Absolutely, that's insulting.
There's no game here. It's wild to me that like PlayStation had Astro's Playroom at launch in this thing, and it's like one of the coolest games of this generation. Like when the Steam Deck came out, Valve made a Portal game that explains to you how the Steam Deck works, but it's free. They're all free, and they give us a thing where you walk around a waiting room and it explains to you how fucking magnets work. I watch Breaking Bad. I know how fucking magnets work, okay? I don't need you to charge me. I can watch YouTube and have a better understanding of magnets than this fucking thing. This is fucking insane. It's just more shit on top of everything else. If this was been it, like whatever. Anyways, calm down, Tyler. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild those will be available at launch for Switch 2 editions. Those will be free as well if you have NSO expansion pack. Otherwise, you can pay for the upgrades, or you could buy them for $80. Donkey Kong Bonanza we talked about July 17th. That looks phenomenal. Mario Party plus Jamboree TV is coming July 24th. So kind of like I've been talking about for a while now, where like PlayStation uses like these upgrades for last gen games to fill in gaps. Kind of what I predicted they would do with these, where like they're using a lot of these like Switch 1 games to probably going to be filling some gaps for this thing, but I guess not really, because it's a week after Donkey Kong, which is weird. But like that was like the one thing we did see with the camera, where like there's a game to it, where like that looked kind of cool. I guess I watched some people like they had a lot of developers playing this thing, and like they were showing some of the camera stuff, and it looked like it's a little weird sometimes, where like if you have like a background in Zoom or whatever or Discord, like it look a little wonky, but like seemed like it worked for the most part, but I don't know. Like, I did not buy Super Mario Party, and I do not see myself paying for that and then paying their $20 for Jamboree TV. But like, oh, looks like a cool little thing. But I feel like that would have actually been a cool thing for like $20 by itself, actually.
Well, yeah, if I had like a group of friends or something like that to play with, like possibly in real life or online, I would do it. But no, this has no interest for me.
Yeah. Um, like you talked about already, Kirby in the Forgotten Land plus Starcross World is coming August 28th. The only thing I was kind of excited like the prospect of getting more Forgotten Land, but it looks like it's literally just like they just kind of like added some like crystals to like the levels already in the game. So it's just kind of like there's like collectibles you get through that. So it doesn't look like it's really like an expansion. It's just like we kind of change up the way you play through the game again. So I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, like there was literally just like there was like crystals all throughout, and like it looked like you were collecting like these like red star things or something. So I don't foresee it being much other than like I don't know, like not a lot of new stuff here. Kirby Air Riders is coming this year. It is being directed by Sakurai,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
that's
pretty
right.
crazy. We didn't get any gameplay, but one person did get mad at me on YouTube where I got upset about this because I was like, please, I'm like, man, I hope this isn't Kirby Air Ride, and it was. And I was like, fuck, and they got really mad at me about that. But I stand by my statement, Gables.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't need another
I think that's
racing
really
game from
cool
Nintendo.
though. I honestly
Yeah,
think it's really cool though that the Kirby's Air Ride and stuff like that is back, and Sakurai's got his wish that he's working on a new Kirby Air Ride stuff like that. Gosh, I never played that game as a kid, but at the same time, it's like I I know there's been plenty of people that have been looking forward to playing like another Kirby Air Ride and stuff all
yeah.
these years later.
Next up here, Dragon Drive is coming this summer. That's that like wheelchair basketball game, like 3v3. I'm not gonna lie, this looks kind of bad.
You want to know what's something that's really funny? Maximilian Dude. He generally does these like sub bets and stuff. Like he'll give out certain number of subs if like certain conditions are met and stuff. He was so close upon like a sequel to Arms. He calls it. He would. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do like a sequel to Arms. So I'm gonna give out so many if like we're just gonna call it Legs, you know. And what's hilarious about it is when he was watching that and stuff, and you have like the people at the wheelchair and stuff like that, and stuff. It's like, oh, is this Legs? Is this Legs? It
Close
was
enough.
so close. But no, this game of itself is using a lot of like the motion, like mouse movements and stuff like that of the freaking Joy Cons and stuff. This one looks very gimmicky and stuff. Obviously, this is going to be something they're going to try to advertise for people to try to get one of the features of like the Switch 2, because you know how each Nintendo system needs to have its own gimmick
Yeah,
at this point. So this is their gimmick, the whole aspect of like motion control mice that'll
yeah,
just go and what's kind of funny about it is like you can just hold up your controller, right, and stuff. You just wave at people, you have high fives and stuff, and like slam dunk a basketball and stuff. I think that concept's kind of cool, but I can also see it to where it's like you just go through, just like flip off your freaking team. It's like
yeah. I don't know if they're gonna let us do
that would
that,
be
but
funny.
that would be funny. I would take that. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where like if it was like $10, maybe it'd be kind of fun. But I have a feeling this is gonna be like a $30,
Yeah,
$40 thing. What's interesting though is
yeah.
like this mouse thing is like what their big gimmick for this, and I don't believe there's a single game that will be available at launch that uses it.
Not at launch right away and
Because
stuff.
Mario Party's in
Hell,
July. That's 6 weeks
the
out.
game that the game that's really like gonna be using like say the that Joy-Con for the Switch 2 and stuff, like as a mouse thing, is a control option. It's like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond,
Yeah,
and
that's a
like
fall game though.
even with some of the, I know, and that's not even a launch game. That's like something that's sometime this year. But yeah, there's really nothing at launch that'll implement that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I really don't. I guess Civilization. I guess will have it. I don't know if that's a launch game though. Actually, for
Huh.
sure yet. But yeah, you mentioned it. Metroid Prime 4 is coming. There will be a Switch 2 edition as well. You could play 4K 60 or 1080 120 docked. I believe it's like 1080 30 if you want it on handheld. And you could use the mouse controls with that, or like one mouse to like look to move around, and then you can use the Joy-Con with the other one to like look around and stuff. I don't know. I
That
mean, we
game
got
looked good, dude.
yeah. People seem pretty. I'm not a Metroid guy, but a lot of people seem really excited for that one. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna be another great game that's gonna come out. To kind of fill in the a lot of gaps. Like I said, the 2025 is looking really good for if you have a Switch 2 this year. It's gonna be looking pretty good for you. Also,
Yes.
Pokemon Legends ZA will have a Switch 2 edition. They are saying better frame rate and resolution. So cool.
Obviously, why not just get that one for freaking Switch 2 at that point? Because
Yeah.
from the footage that we did see, it definitely did look better than the first time the thing was unveiled and stuff with their gameplay from the Pokemon Direct that they had and stuff. That thing was chugging. If there was aspects of that Switch 1 thing, that was just chugging. And all of a sudden you see the footage coming through for this past week for the Switch 2 Direct and stuff. It just seemed kind of seamless. You could actually tell the difference in terms of the fidelity and also in terms of the frame rate stuff. I just hope that this damn thing is going to be not broken at launch. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, just instead of offering us anything like phenomenal, like, hey, it'll look better and run better. Like, honestly, the expectations are so low. Like, yeah, like, you know what? If it's just stable on and it doesn't look like ass on the Switch 2, that's a win. Like,
Dude,
that's all. I think
you
that's
want
what
to
the
know
bar
what
is.
would be a real you want to know be a really good win for them, which I know they're not going to do, and that's release updates, Switch 2 updates for the freaking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for that shit.
They
You
are
know
actually. That is one of the things that's free. Is there will be Switch
what?
2 updates? Yeah, for a few games. I have the list here. I'll get to it here in a
Oh,
second.
you have the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get it's I got it down here. It's coming up. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, next up though, yeah, like you mentioned, GameCube at launch only on Switch 2 though, so will not be on Switch 1. It looks like we haven't got. I'm assuming there'll be a price increase on NSO. Once again, though, they have not told us. But I'm expecting there'll be some sort of like at least $10 there. But Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX will be at launch. And then they did mention Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Coliseum were shown, and those are coming later. This might be the thing actually when like Mario Strikers and like the Pokemon games actually come. That will probably be what gets me to finally like I haven't had NSO for like I'll get it for like a month every now and again, but like I have not had NSO regularly, and I usually get like the base tier. I've never got the expansion pass. Like this might when those come though, I will be as soon as I can. I will be getting NSO expansion pack just for because I never played those Pokemon games on GameCube, and I loved the Mario Strikers back in the day on GameCube. So yeah, I'm excited for those.
Dude, the thought going into this is like you get to play online like games against people with GameCube stuff, dude. Like say Soul Calibur 2 and like freaking like Pokemon and stuff and like freaking
Mario
the Coliseum, Mario Strikers as well. You know, it's like there's like maybe 3 games in the entirety that was revealed for that Switch, like GameCube like stuff. You know, where I have never played Chibi Robo, I never played Strikers, I never played like Gale. Pokemon like Gale X, D, and stuff.
Yeah, and I was listening to like Kelsey Lewin talk about this. She's like she knows a lot about like the prices of some of these retro games, and she mentioned like a lot of these games are like $200+ right now. So if you are somebody that owns these games physically and you're hoping to make a nice little payday out of them, maybe now's a good time to sell some of these things because the price might be going down when these things hit NSO. It is funny though. We're talking about like this brand new console, and we're excited for fucking GameCube games to come in this thing.
Dude. I know it's funny to think about that, dude. It's like games from like 20 some odd years ago and stuff, but I'm fucking jazzed about that shit, dude. I mean, it just shows like, I don't want to pull out the GameCube and put them like plug it in and play that way. I want a goddamn TV here.
Yeah, then that's what I mean. Like Nintendo starved us so much that we're like just excited about the fact that 20+ years later these things have been stuck on these old platforms that we're finally able to play them. So and this is the next thing here. So some of these are these are Switch 1 games that are some of these are getting the game share. They have updates for Switch 2, but not necessarily they'll run or work better. But some of these are just like they didn't say which ones are which. Some are getting the game share. Some are going to be running better on the next gen hardware though. So we have ARMS, Captain Toad, Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Clubhouse Games 51, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Big Brain Academy are all either getting upgrade as far as like frame rate resolution or game sharing. So I'm assuming the multiplayer ones will be the ones that game share, and then the other ones are going to be like Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Scarlet and Violet, stuff like those, like Mario Odyssey. Those are probably those are the ones they talk about as far as like getting boosts, but like the other ones will be getting the game share thing. That's another thing too with like some of these like Switch 1 games. Like even if you don't buy the Switch 2 edition, it is annoying that like at least like Xbox and like PlayStation, they give you like they have the boost option where like the games will run at a better resolution and frame rate already. And then if you pay for it, you pay the upgrade fee, you can get the the better versions of those on top of it. But so that's annoying too that like, I have to pay additional $10-$20 for Breath of the Wild to finally get the Korok Forest at 30 frames per second. So that's fucking dumb. Yeah, I feel like a pretty, overall a really good solid edition of the first party games coming this year. Like, yeah, like I said, like as far as like games go, like I'm pretty excited about it. It's just like, yeah, obviously like next year we're gonna be playing. But third party wise, some of this is like the weird like second party kind of stuff here. We already talked about Duskbloods from Software. That is exclusive to Switch 2, coming in 2026. What kind of like I think took the wind out of the sails for a lot of people though is this is a 8-player PvPvE game. So this is going to be a multiplayer game first. So I think that's kind of like a lot of people are kind of bummed about that. So this is not going to be like a full. And we obviously don't like what is this like? Is it going to be an arena game? Is this going to be more like what Night Rain is? Like, what exactly is this thing going to be? How like in like you can see like a lot of the people like when you go back and watch it, knowing that like okay, everybody they're showing here were different characters you can play as, except for the frog with the giant tits. Yep. I'm assuming you can't play as the frog tits, but if I could play as the left boob of that frog, I'd be happy. I'll buy that game for that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Souls guy, so this doesn't do a lot for me. I'm excited for those people. It's just cool. Like they make some great goddamn trailers. I will say though, when I watch this, you can watch my live reaction. I broke it out. It's on our YouTube channel. One of the first things I said, it was like, is this a From Software game? And then, I was somewhat joking, but then it actually turned out to be real. So I'm going to take credit for that one. And then one thing we haven't really talked about yet, Gables, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is coming this winter. I'm expecting December, because usually when Japanese companies say winter, they actually mean the seasons, not the calendar, or I guess the calendar actually. So like, so that would mean like December, January, February. So I'm assuming that's December. Or I guess that could be next year. I think about it. It could be January, February. They didn't say 2025, I don't think. I cannot believe it, Gables. I'm actually excited for this one. And it pisses me off. Yeah. And I'm not happy with, no, don't say good. I'm not happy with myself. It's like when you call your ex, your toxic ex, after you break up for a booty call. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, I'm finally free. And you call them like, what am I doing here? I'm just horny, And that's where I am right now. I'm just horny for Hyrule Warriors, Gables. And I'm not happy about it. I know, like, I'm going to play one level. I'm like, I hate this. I'm ashamed of myself, I get that post-purchase clarity, But I really loved Hyrule Warriors, the first game. And that game was phenomenal. I played it on Wii U. I played it again on Switch. Age of Calamity, my buddy of mine, Josh, we both loved. Like I recommended Hyrule Warriors to him on Wii U, and he loved it. Played through with his daughter, like years ago. We were both so excited for Age of Calamity, and both of us have agreed that it's maybe one of the most disappointing games of all time. Not only because of like how poorly it ran at like 3.5 frames per second on a good day. The fact that they like marketed it as this is a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and actually no, it's a different universe. It's not even a prequel. It's a totally different universe. Where at the end of the game, you play as Link, and then you kill Ganondorf, because you're supposed to play. It's 100 years before Breath of the Wild, so it doesn't even follow the whole premise of the. Anyways, it's made me so mad. So and on top of that, it is fucking insane over amount of content. The game is way too long. I eventually put the game on easy and just beat it, and I was pissed off the entire way through. I spent a whole Thanksgiving playing through that game to beat it, and I was so fucking what a waste of a fucking day. And $60. But anyways, that's a game that better have a fucking free upgrade on Switch 2. But anyways, they're doing it again.
Yeah, no shit, right?
They're doing it again, but this time it is you play as Zelda, and like King Rauru is in it as well. And this is supposed to be about in Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda goes like into the past, and she I'm not gonna spoil the story for people out there, but basically she's locked in the past. Like that's what a lot of Tears of the Kingdom is figuring out what happened to Zelda. And it is basically like the whole war that leads up to Ganon getting his power. So it looks like you're going to actually play all that. So you might not actually look like you won't play as Link. And then you better not. And I don't want to hear, well, it's a Zelda game. You have to have Link. I don't fucking care. If they break the goddamn story and they lie to me again, Gills, I might just boycott Zelda for the rest of my life. I will never play another goddamn Zelda game ever again if they do this to me. Because I'll be fucking furious if this is actually it's a different universe of this, and I'm be so fucking mad. Anyways, it's coming out. I'm probably gonna buy it, and we pissed off. So that's happening.
Anytime anybody says different universe, I think of just spin off. okay, spinoff. Though I don't really give a shit about the
Yeah.
story of the spinoff. I'm just gonna be playing it and just enjoying it for what it is, and then I'll
But
stick
the
on
thing
the
is,
main things.
if they would have said it was a spinoff, that'd been fine. But the fact is, they literally call it the prequel to Breath of the Wild, and it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a different thing entirely. There's a weird little tiny robot dude that follows you around, and anyways,
Instead, they called Age of Imprisonment, which is going to be kind of like the same thing that you're going to be feeling once you play through this entire game.
Gables, I might have to quit the podcast if it happens. If it happens to me again, I might quit the podcast. The smart thing would be like just to wait to see what people say about it. But I gotta know for myself. I gotta get in there. I gotta find out.
You gotta
This
get in
is
there, man. You gotta dig deep.
Yeah. It's Hyrule Warriors is my toxic ex, and I'm calling. I've had a few beers. I'm gonna call him up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm gonna feel so bad about myself afterward. I'm gonna be ashamed. Anyways, Deltarune, like you mentioned, chapters 1 through 4 is coming. That'd be $25 on there. It's coming Switch 1 and 2. Be on there first. It'll be on PC as well, but console exclusive at first. There will be 7 chapters, but if you pay the $25, that gets you everything though. So as the chapters 5, 6, 7 come out, they'll come out with it. I mentioned already, Hades 2 is coming to Switch 1 and 2 as well, and that'll be a console exclusive at first. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition is coming this year as well. No date on that one. But yeah, that'll come. That's gonna have the DLC and everything, and they still have some new gear and stuff with it as well. But yeah, also that interestingly enough though, that game will basically just be a key, and that's something that we did find out a lot of these games will not actually have like it's almost like a Call of Duty situation where like a lot of like and some other bigger games now do it too, where like you buy that physical game, you put it in a console, it basically just unlocks. This tells the console you bought that you own the game, and then downloads the entire game, and like the disc only has like 3 megabytes of storage on it. So we're seeing a lot of that. And interestingly enough, the Cyberpunk 2077 will have the DLC and the entire game on the card itself, which is interesting.
So you have to really research like what game is going to have the full game on it and which ones are like unlock codes, because that's extremely frustrating. Because if you're trying to collect something digitally and stuff, you're pretty much getting screwed if you don't do your due diligence and stuff. But yeah, at least I'm happy that there are some games that are electing to go and put the full game content on the initial card and stuff, and then just do what they're doing. So yeah, CD Projekt Red doing a pretty good job with that for Cyberpunk.
That's what kind of surprised me when you find out like the Switch 2 editions of games won't have the actual upgrades, because like those games are like 5 to like 20 gigabytes, and there's a 64 gigabyte cart. It's like, how much more room is these actual these upgrades going to cost? Like actually, so part of me wonders like, is it literally just like carts they've already pre-made of like Switch 1s, and then they're just like putting like a Switch 2 sticker on it and calling it a day? I don't know. That's part of what I'm wondering is like they've already like produced these carts and they're just putting a fucking code in the box maybe. Some other details though, like we have some third-party games. These are the ones that are going to be available at launch. We have Archives 2 Ridge Racer. Another one we haven't talked about. This is kind of a big deal here. Bravely Default, the Flying Fairy Edition. This is the HD remaster. I loved Bravely Default on 3DS way back then. First digital game I ever bought. Fun fact for everybody out there. Well, first like, not including like 360 arcade games or whatever, but like first full-fledged game I ever bought digitally, because I remember when that game came out and the word of mouth was so good, I couldn't wait to play it on 3DS, and I went to 6 different stores all around one night. After work one night, I drove around to I went to like a Toys R Us that was when it was still open, Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop. I went to a couple other stores as well around, and just to try to buy a physical edition of it. Nobody had it. I finally broke and I bought a digital edition of this game, and I really loved it. But like the problem was like I was like 25 hours into this game, and I was like on chapter 2 or 3, and then there's like I looked it up and there was like 14 chapters or something like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I kind of just like, I put like 40 something hours in this game and I really liked it, but I was like, this game doesn't end. But yeah, that game is phenomenal. So I'm hoping that maybe like this game will come out, do well, and then maybe get that Bravely Default 2 on here. And then, maybe we bring back Bravely Default, because that is a fantastic franchise. And it's only $40 too, which is cool, which is I believe the same price as the 3DS version. But Civ 7 will be available at launch as well. That'll be like, I think the one game that will actually use mouse controls other than the Welcome Tour tech demo thing. But you do have to pay the upgrade if you already own Civ 7 on Switch to Switch 2 to then use the mouse controls. Like I mentioned, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, Deltarune, Fast Fusion, Fortnite, Hitman, World of Assassination, Signature Edition, Hogwarts Legacy, Kunitsigami, No Bunga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition, Puyo Tetris 2, Rune Factory, Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, Survival Kids, and Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. And those are like the major things that are coming at launch. I'll run through. I'm not gonna say through all these, but these are third-party games coming later this year. Borderlands 4, Damien Cross Machina's Titanic Scion, which is also that's coming. I think September 5th is what they said on that one, and that's coming to everything though as well. That's not a Switch exclusive. They did mention though, like Madden and EA Sports FC will be coming. Sounds probably like next year. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is coming. Silk Song, they've got the little teaser for that one. NBA 2K, obviously we're still getting the 2K games. They mentioned like Project 007 is coming as well. Reanimal, Star Wars Outlaws. We're going to get WWE 2K as well. Tony Hawk Pro Skaters 3 and 4, and they also did the tease for there's a SpongeBob level in there as well. So, and then surprisingly, maybe here Wild Hearts is coming, being ported over. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I do want to mention that I do want to thank VGC.com for this, Video Game Chronicles. I spent a lot of time putting all this together for the podcast, and they killed it this week. There's a ton of articles on their website. I took went through a lot of different articles to get all this information to put together, and a lot of this information came from them. And also, Wario64 over on Blue Sky, he was live tweeting live skeeting a lot of stuff. So I was getting a lot of information. I went back over the last few days, and I was trying to like put stuff together like as like things were popping up, but then things kept changing. So I kind of just gave up at a certain point of like adding things to our show notes. And anyways, I went back through. I went through like Wario 64's Blue Sky account, and I was putting a lot of information in there. So like those two people, or those two different accounts, VGC.com and Wario64 over on Blue Sky, or if you're still on Twitter over there. Doing all the dirty work this week of really helped me out, making my job a lot easier this week to get a lot of information, especially as a lot of things changed. But yeah, you know what? I think that is everything. Gables unfortunately walked away a few months ago, and I been trying to like kill time before I was hoping he'd be back by now. So now I'm just kind of rambling. Even though I want to wrap up the show, but yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I did start playing South of Midnight. I did pay the $10 to get the early edition of the game. I've only played a few hours of it. I'm on like chapter 6. I will say so far I am absolutely loving this game. But yeah, I'll talk about more next week because we've already gone super long, or not super long, but I like to keep the show about an hour. We're already at like an hour 13 or so, give or take. So yeah. Anyways, we'll be back next week. We'll be jumping into a lot of stuff here, and hopefully we'll have more details about price points and all that, because it was a big bummer, because I was really hoping, obviously the pre-order is supposed to go up on April 9th, and I'm off on Wednesdays typically with my job, or hopefully, supposed to be off on Wednesdays, not always, but I was talking to my best friend Justin. I'm like, dude, Best Buy at 11 p.m. on Tuesday night is doing pre-orders. I'm like in like brick and mortar, and I'm like, I was gonna do one online, but I'm like, if I can just go and get one and don't have to worry, like stress out about like shipping and then coming, or when it's gonna like might get delayed or whatever. Like if I can just go to the store and get one guaranteed, and then like just go pick it up and not have to worry about anything, like my getting robbed off the front step or whatever. Like that was my hope and like my concerns. So I was really excited about doing it. Like also kind of old school. Like Justin and I used to go to a lot of like midnight sales. Not a lot, but we went to a dozen or so, in the 2010s and stuff like that. And it was always fun. It was like, man, it'd be like really nostalgic to go back and do this again, probably for the last time ever. Cause midnight sales aren't really a thing anymore for video games. And especially nowadays with so much digital, it's like, we just get the thing digitally anymore. And then, who knows what's gonna happen with the PS6 and the next Xbox and stuff. So, and then, then the ones after that will probably just be a thing you like a plug-in you put on your TV or something. But I don't know. That's a big bummer. Obviously everything stressful. There's a lot more things to stress out about as far as the tariffs go than just video games. It's gonna be a lot scary, a lot more stressful than that. But like, we're a video game podcast, so try to deal with it. And like I said, like we see all the information out there, but I'm a guy with a high school education, so I don't really know. I don't understand what's gonna happen here. But anyways, I was really bummed out about the switch to get delayed. I was telling people before while you were gone, Gables, that Justin and I were gonna go to like the Best Buy was gonna open up at 11 p.m. our time on
Yeah.
Tuesday night at brick and mortar stores, and we were gonna go and pre-order the Switch 2, and now that's not gonna happen. So I was really excited about
Well,
doing that,
that's
and like
sad.
man, like I was like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, like gotta be late going to driving out to Best Buy and stuff to do that because like it's not super far away, but it's a little bit of a trek to get out there. But like man, like there's a little bit of like giddiness and like old school to it of like like Justin and I going to like midnight sales, like get like Metal Gear Solid 5 and stuff like that, and or go
Yeah.
not even a midnight sale, but I remember like we got together like the day the new 3DS XL came out and went up to like GameStop as soon as it opened to go get our new 3DS because we pre-ordered those and stuff like that. So I was
Dude.
like, it's probably the last time we'll ever be able to do this. It kind of sucks that like I don't know, maybe it won't happen now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember doing like the last midnight launch thing I actually did in order to go to a brick and mortar store it's for the Super Nintendo Classic.
Oh wow, yeah, I got mine
Yeah,
for
that
it.
was a Super Nintendo Classic, but I've done it before in terms of for the launch of the Wii U, which was kind of hilarious in hindsight because there was only like 3 people.
Yeah, I remember like I've told a story before of like going to Best Buy and sitting outside in late November here in Iowa, sitting outside of a Best Buy all night until like 9 o'clock in the morning, from like 10 o'clock at night to like 9 o'clock in the morning, freezing my ass off, um, to get the Wii at launch. And like I think the last time I went to a midnight sale, it actually wasn't even technically a midnight sale. They just like I wasn't gonna do it, and they announced that like GameStop was gonna like uh, they're doing like at like 8:30 or something like that. They were doing a
Hmm.
sale for they had Evil Within. Like they were doing, it was like there's like 3 games that are coming out in the same day. Like WE2K was one of them. I think Friday 13th was one of them, and there was Evil Within 2 was the other one.
Hmm.
And I was gonna get Evil Within 2, and they were like doing like a hey, you can like get it at like we close at 9, but you can buy the game. Well, like we're gonna like close the store at like at 9, and then you can buy the game from us basically. So I was like, so I remember like I wasn't planning on doing it, but it was like 9 o'clock, and I had the next day off, so I went up and grabbed it. And that was like I think technically the last time I've actually done that for. It was like there was actually surprisingly a lot of people there, but most people were there for I think WWE2K at that point. And then like I remember the one
Yeah.
year when Justin and I we waited until super late, till midnight to get Metal Gear Solid 5, and it was the same day the
Yes.
Mad Max game came out. I remember there was a bunch of people outside. I mean, like there was probably like 30 people for this game waiting, and there was one dude there for Mad Max, which was funny. Uh, but yeah.
Well,
Anyways,
both
though,
games are good.
yeah, they both a game, but it's like obviously one was much better. I felt bad for that Mad Max game because yeah, everybody's like, this game's actually good. It just kind of got overshadowed by Metal Gear. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, Gables. Is there anything else you want to say about the Switch 2 stuff before we get out of here?
The only really thing I can say furthermore for the Nintendo Switch 2 is I'm just hoping that this game will be affordable for everybody, and on top of that, I just hope that we get a whole bunch of great games as a result. Like not just from what we've seen though, but also in terms of like come summertime, then come the rest of the next couple of years, because this console definitely has a potential of being like a fantastic hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just at this point in time, it's just one misstep after another misstep after unforeseeable circumstances. It's kind of like a perfect storm in a way.
Yeah,
And so seeing how Nintendo as a company reacts to this sort of a crisis moment for them, it's going to be interesting.
yeah,
But yeah, I just hope for the best and stuff, and hopefully we'll get our Switches at the designated date
yeah,
of June 5th.
yeah, yeah. I hope. Um, yeah. Hopefully we get this thing on June 5th. That'd be fantastic, and it's not crazy expensive. But yeah. I mean, this thing's gonna
Yeah.
sell out day one regardless of
Yep.
whether this thing is 450 or 850 bucks. It's gonna sell out day one. So
Dude, look at it this way. People wait in line to get the next iPhone, and so that's literally over $1,000 or something like that. You
mm,
think they're not going to do the same thing for a Switch 2?
yeah, there's hardcore fans out there for anything. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully this time next week there's some sort of resolution of some sort about this, and maybe
Yes.
I get to go and sit out overnight, or not overnight, but go up to Best Buy at 11 o'clock with my best friend and get one of these fucking things, and just not stress about it because. Yeah, there's a little bit of anxiety here of like, man, I just hope I get one of these fucking things. Um, yeah, but it'd be just nice to get that off my, get the one less thing to worry about. But
Yeah.
anyways, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Like I said, we've been I really appreciate it. Everybody help us get to 500 subscribers. Getting that YouTube partnership took us a long time to get there. And like I said, we've been doing this for 12 years. We've really been pushing the YouTube thing for like 3 or 4 now. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for doing all this, liking our show, subscribing, watching us, listening to us, whatever. Please check us out every platform we are available at. There are links down below to find you, to get you those places faster. But I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, let's have some fun playing some great games. And most importantly, thank you very much for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables?
Yeah.
Too sweet?
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.